Well, dear Nordic Baltic friends, I am truly honored to be able to take part in this important conference. And I really hope that the upcoming days will be of great interest to all of us. I think this forum is very important and also very useful. We have many things in common in the Nordic-Baltic cooperation. And one of the things we really share is the experiences of the last 2 years when the pandemic has influenced all parts of our societies. And the pandemic has really made us realize the importance of schools, both for learning outcomes, but not least for its importance for young persons' well-being, their psychosocial environment, and their mental health. We have also seen the great importance of international cooperations on all levels and how that has been disrupted in many ways. And I'm sure that you share my longing back to a world after the pandemic, when we can use all the experiences we have gained and at the same time try to come back to a more normal everyday life, also in schools. Even though this period has been a struggle, it has also opened new doors and sometimes shortened the pathways to meet, like we do now, even when we haven't been able to meet in person. I'm also very happy that we have continued to share information and support each other in the best possible way during this period. The pandemic and the extraordinary situation that it has meant for all countries has really made us aware of the importance and the gains of collaboration between countries and how much we can gain by learning from each other. I know that the Nordic-Baltic cooperation has a long tradition of collaboration, and I'm sure that after the pandemic, we will look in each other's eyes and say that we have strengthened our cooperations thanks to the experiences we have gained, not least when it comes to digitalization. So once again, I'm very happy and to be with you, and also very happy to be able to address you in this forum. Well, we all know that the pandemic has meant has influenced our students in many ways. We know this from international surveys, from UNICEF, from UNESCO, from OECD, but also from our different Nordic countries and Baltic countries. And this is something that I see every day in Sweden. I see it especially in secondary schools, upper secondary, where distance learning has been conducted to a large extent during this time period, and lower secondary, where distance learning has been a part. We have also learned so far, both in Sweden and internationally, that the mental and physical health of students have been affected in a negative way during the pandemic. Principals and staff within school health services tell us this, and we can also see it in the big numbers. We know that schools play a key role in the everyday life of children and students. We know that it's important for them in order to be happy and feel safe. And for some students, we know that the school meal is the only healthy meal of the day. The school is the main place for meeting friends and stable adults. This and also the impact on learning outcomes has been the reason why the aim of the Swedish government has been to keep schools open as much as possible. We have strived to say that schools should be the last thing we close down and the first thing we open up. This has been very difficult decisions. It has been for all of us in the Nordic countries, weighing risks against each other. And looking back, I'm very happy that we have managed to keep the Swedish primary schools and preschools open all through the pandemic. We do at the same time know a lot of the effects caused by the pandemic, but we need to follow up on the long-term effects. And therefore, the Swedish government has instructed the school authorities to investigate what consequences the pandemic has had to students and to schools. We also asked our authorities to support schools and school providers in their work to handle the consequences of the pandemic. For example, by showing good practices and suggest interventions to prevent both physical and mental health issues. And this has been done through our normal school authorities. And at the same time, just like many other countries, we have allocated big resources in order to make sure that the schools can keep up with the loss in the knowledge gap that might have been created for students, not least in upper secondary and lower secondary. But it's also important not to, as we remember the importance of learning outcomes, we must not forget the importance of for children to have a healthy lifestyle, both physically and mentally, and the importance of school. For that reason, it is stated in the school curriculum that the school should provide children and students with this kind of knowledge, but also with this kind of practice. This is done through physical education and health, and this is also done in other subjects. And we all know, and we've learned very clearly during the pandemic, how important a daily school routine is in order to keep up both physically and mentally on the health side. We are also aware of the importance of healthy relationships with classmates and teachers, and the importance for this in order to prevent development of mental issues. One big aspect during this conference is the work we all do against bullying. And this is an area where we have strengthened the Swedish curricula during the last years. We all know how important school is, not only as a learning place, but also a place where you should be happy and free of bullying, and also free of fear of being bullying. But also how important it is for children to have a friend to play with and connect with at the school, not to be lonely. These things are easy to draft in a curriculum, but much harder to make sure that they are implemented in classrooms and in playgrounds. But it is very important that we allocate the resources for school providers to make sure that every classroom, every corridor, every playground is a safe, healthy, and happy and friendly place. The responsibility lies with schools providers, and it should lie with school providers. And we should all work harder to follow up how this very important assignment is taken care of by the school providers. In order to do this, the preventive work must be underlined and should of course be systematic. Yes, it is important to have a system where you find out when bullying happens, but it's also important to have a stable and systematic work in order to prevent. So it's good to be reactive, but it's even better to be both preventive and reactive. And in order to prevent bullying, a statement in the curriculum that bullying is not tolerated is, of course, an important first step. But as important is, of course, to have a systematic work in the classroom, in the teaching, to view this also as a matter of knowledge, to make sure that the children know what is right and what is wrong, what is prohibited and what is tolerated and what is encouraged. But it's also very important to have a work environment in the classroom that promotes anti-bullying by being friendly, open, and tolerant. So, and not least, to have a systematic work also to follow up that this is actually happening in the classroom. In the end, children and students have the right to attend a safe school. They have the obligation to learn the things we have in the curriculum, and they should have the right to do this in a safe way. And that right is put there for a reason. It's good for children's well-being, it's good for children's health, but it's also good for children learning a lot. Feeling safe allows you to focus on your schoolwork and learn more. So, dear friends, to conclude, the ability to learn is strongly connected to the well-being of children and students. All children should be given the guidance and incentives needed for them to, as far as possible, progress, both in their personal development and their learning. And lastly, I would like once again to thank you for the opportunity to take part in this conference. I'm very sure that you will continue the upcoming days with fruitful discussions, and I hope we will get the chance to meet again soon in this Nordic-Baltic setting. Digital meetings are good, but real meetings, person to person, are much, much better. And I really look forward to the time after the pandemic when we can meet again and interact freely. Thank you very much and have a very good conference.
Sincerely, thank you for being with us at this conference today. And it's so important to hear from you as a member of the government that you put a priority for children's health, physical and mental health. And you also see the importance of preventing things and bullying that happens in schools. It's so important to make something that bullying is not happening, does not take place. So thank you very much, and we will hear more of Swedish experience at this conference, and it's so nice to have you today.